Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm extremely excited because I have found something that I thought had been lost forever. I was looking through some files that I backed up online a couple years ago, and I was clearing out some space. I saw a file called mumbojumbo-lpworld.zip. Thought it sounded interesting, downloaded it, opened it up in my Minecraft world saves folder, and it is the old Mumbo's world. Now, for those of you who have been around for a very long time, you may remember that before I got invited to join the Hermitcraft server, I had a short-running Let's Play series on my own little survival world that I called Mumbo's World. I think it went on for about 16 episodes before I got invited to join Hermitcraft, and that's when I left all of it behind. And to be honest, I thought this world had been deleted. I thought it had been completely lost, so I am very excited to see that it still exists. And now, I guess we're just going to take a look around and see exactly what I did back in 2013, over 5 years ago now. And one thing that I can definitely confirm is that my inventory management wasn't much better back then. And I still haven't improved to this day. This is what I logged in with. I had a decent pickaxe though. Oh, that's not bad. Anyway, first things first, we have got my storage system. Now, I remember back when I built this thing, I was incredibly proud of this design. I really liked the way that it looked. I think this was when corner stairs were first introduced into the game. So I was making use of those, and I thought it looked really, really cool. And if you take a look in here, I had a lot more resources than I thought. I did not expect to have this many resources. I had a bunch of, so I got fortune pickaxes. This was back before mending, so of course you had a bunch of pickaxes. You just had pickaxes lying around so that you could repair things. I forget what life was like before we had the mending enchantment. Had a lot of shears, apparently. I was big into my shears. I had a handful of nether stars. What? When did I get them? That's pretty incredible. And then, yeah, I had some cobblestone slabs. When were beacons introduced? For some reason, I didn't think they had been introduced into the game when I had this world. We had some wood, we had some glass, a little bit of stone, a little bit of gravel, coal, redstone, quartz. Not too bad. And then I guess, yeah, these are the mob drops from our mob farm. Now, back when I was actually doing this, I was really, really into Keranis and his building tutorials, and his building let's plays and build-alongs. I don't know what you'd be calling them. I can't remember what he called them, but it was like he'd build along with you, and I used to watch his modern house videos and things. So this little village right here was heavily inspired by Keranis, and actually, now that I'm looking at them, these houses are pretty cool. Have I gotten worse at building over time? Like, these are interesting. I mean, they're not perfect. I probably... You know, I'm looking back with rose-tinted glasses. I wouldn't be happy if I constructed these sorts of things on the Hermitcraft server now, but I'm quite impressed by how good the builds are for back then. 5 years ago, when I was only 16 years old. This build is actually genuinely quite cool. I quite like this one. And of course, these are actually dedicated to donators from live streams. So you can see that, yeah, we've got donation amounts on there, which is pretty cool. So yeah, these donators had their own houses in this little village right here that made its way through. And I think I had plans to expand this thing out, but then of course I got invited to the Hermitcraft server. Now, actually, one thing that I kind of glossed over was this Nether Hub thing. I remember I spent a good few hours actually designing this thing in a creative mode testing world, really trying my best to get it to be what I wanted it to be, and you can see that even back then, I was building in circles. I think it's ingrained in my head to build things in circles with stone slabs. Look how many stone slabs there are. I haven't changed. It's been 5 years, and you know, these are still very Mumbo-y builds. And when I say that I haven't changed, I don't mean that as a bad thing, as in I haven't evolved at all. What I mean is that I have got better, and my building style has definitely morphed quite a bit, but you can still see hints of the styles that I like. I mean, the reason I use stone slabs so much is because they genuinely are my favourite block in the game. One thing that I haven't changed over, though, is creeper holes. Creeper holes being everywhere and apparently being left. I mean, look at this. This is the most pathetic attempt at an interior I've ever seen in my life. I mean, look at this. You just have a wooden floor, no doors. I'm guessing they got taken out by zombies, so maybe I'll give myself a free pass there. But I've literally just put a pink rug in, and that's it. That's the only piece of furniture in the room. I totally forgot about this. I had totally forgotten about doing that. That is actually genuinely really quite pretty. I'd forgotten entirely about this part of the world, because I remember, now that I think about it, was it in Hermitcraft season... What Hermitcraft season was it? Was it Hermitcraft season 3? I then did something similar to this that was based on this design here. Yeah, Hermitcraft season 3, and then I built the Mumbo in there that I think Tango then turned into an old man. Was that really Hermitcraft season 3? Wow, that seems like just yesterday. How do I get down there? I'm assuming... Is it through this cave system? I feel like it was through this cave system somehow. I'll work that out in a little bit because there's actually some interesting bits and pieces down there that I do fancy checking out. But over here, we have got my iron farm. Now this is the traditional iron farm design. The villagers are in the pods. This thing worked pretty well. I used to do a lot of AFK sessions over here. And then also, this is a bit of a... This kind of brought me back to the past a little bit because I forgot that we had to do this. It used to be the iron golems... Oh, it doesn't appear to be working that well. Oh no, hang on. Would you have to kill them? I think you would kill the iron golems. Oh my word. we have quite a few lying around. They seem to have just glitched out. So I think I'm going to ignore that for the time being. But yeah, this would basically bring the iron golems down to half a heart. And then you'd be able to kill them in this little chamber right here. And... I can't remember why that was. I feel like they would only drop iron if the player killed them, or it was something to do with the iron being dropped at head level, which means that if they were killed by lava, then it would be guaranteed to be burned, so the player had to kill them. I don't know, I might be mixing things up there. I definitely feel like I constructed something interesting down underneath, but I can't remember where it is. I'm certain I built some form of slime farm. I might actually have to pop into spectator mode just to have a look around and see if there's anything underground that I'm missing. Having had a bit of a nosy around, it looks like I am totally mistaken. There is absolutely no slime farm anywhere, so I don't know where I've remembered that from. Another thing that I find quite interesting is there is literally no entrance to this place, which is very 2012 me. I mean, that's the sort of thing that I do. I just build something cool and not provide any entrance for it. I'm assuming I used to come in by just falling down, because that's how my brain worked back then. Anyway, here we have my little XP grinder. I believe this entire place was actually built up around my XP grinder. So you can see that we have a zombie spawner. Is that skeleton? I think it looks like zombie to me. And this is a terrible design. A really awful design. Because, oh, I mean, it's not awful, but I clearly didn't understand how XP grinders worked back in those days, because it's a really slow way to get them out of the catchment area. But I'm assuming it worked well. I mean, it looks like we've got some rotten flesh in there. There's no hoppers anywhere. Now, hoppers were definitely in the game, but maybe I just didn't have enough iron for them. Or maybe I just didn't want to use it. Anyway, it looks like we have got ourselves a mob crusher here, which sets fire to these guys, and I'm assuming I've timed it perfectly so it takes them down to half a heart so that we can punch them. This was before swords had sweeping edge or anything like that, and you would kill a bunch of them at once. You'd have to punch them by hand. So there we go. Yeah. Old school XP grinding. Now, if we pop back out to the top section, we have got this build right here. So we've got some stone slabs up to the top, then we've got some dirt. This was my tree farm. Now, it's not particularly technical. I didn't have enough redstone resources to build any automated tree farm designs. I had actually constructed, I had done videos on automatic tree farms before, so they were around, but you know, they were really expensive. And this was before the days of having Tango Tech. Well, I think Tango Tech had created a crazy iron farm at this point. It probably would have been his first one, but that was even more expensive than any redstone projects that I wanted to do. So you were kind of limited a little bit. And I specifically remember this project because I built this before college on a Wednesday morning. So in my first year of college, I had a 12, or was it I think it was Tuesday. On Tuesday mornings, I would start college at 1, which meant that I had a few hours that I could record videos in before I went to college. And this was one of those projects. I don't know why that sticks out in my mind, but it does. It looks like here we have got some kind of... I'm guessing this probably would have been a bread maker. We got a little melon farm down at the bottom there. We don't have anything too crazy in the farming department. And I guess, yeah, we've got a few kind of starter chests. I think this is where I actually started out on the world. So that is the main island, I believe, fully covered. Now, I really want to check out this thing. because this netherrack monstrosity, I remember, took me a very long time, but it is, of course, my mob farm. Does it still work? That is the question. We're in normal difficulty. It looks like there is something going on up here. Well, first off, we get quite a cool view of the base. That island is really good. What is this seed? That's the seed. I'm assuming you won't get that island anymore because by the looks of things, the world generation has changed because we're generating some new chunks here. And, yeah, it's creating some hard borders. So, unfortunately, no, that seed is not going to create that island, but that is an awesome island. Like, that is the perfect island for building a wicked base. Anyway, if we take a look up here, I think this relied on me being in a minecart. So this is a redstone-less design. And what, would I just cycle my way around? There are things falling. It looks like things are falling, so maybe it pushes me out the... I don't know, this seems odd. This does seem strange, but it seems to be working too. So, I suppose, it's, you know, if it works, it works. But I feel like I'm way too close to the build for this to be in any way efficient. Like, half of this has got to be deactivated because I'm too close to it, surely. I thought I would pop through into my spectator account just to see how exactly this mob farm works. It appears to be full of mobs. The only thing is that it relies on trapdoors, which I don't know if this game mechanic still functions. I can't remember if mobs still think of trapdoors as being solid blocks and fall off the edge, but what it used to be like, if it does still work, then fantastic, this is good advice. If it doesn't still work, then it's kind of nostalgic, okay? How it used to work is that mobs would think of trapdoors as being full blocks, so they would go to walk off the edge, well, they would go to walk on the block thinking that it was a block, and then they would just fall off the edge and fall into the water. Now, by the looks of things, I mean, those guys, there were some things falling out of it, so it looks like it still sort of semi-functions, but it's definitely not an efficient design. I mean, look how many, look at these mobs just standing around doing nothing. This is totally unrelated to my world, but I had forgotten how ocean floors used to look like. It looks like someone splattered sand and dirt around. Look, if we put the night vision back on, you can actually see it. That's what it was like. Man, I mean, the update of oceans and turning them into gravel, that was a good change. But more importantly, B, the update of adding in things in Update Aquatic. I mean, look how much prettier that ocean over there looks. Just look at that. What an improvement that was. Blimey. Now, I think the most eye-opening thing for me, looking back at my first Let's Play world, and even looking back at the old Hermitcraft seasons when I've done that in the past, is realizing how much more work goes into the current worlds that we do. I mean, realistically, so if you take a look at this, all these things that we've built right here, this took me 16 episodes to get to this stage, and I feel like if this was nowadays, all of this would be done maybe in 3, maybe 4 episodes. Now, we'd build the village and that little storage system and probably that tree farm in 1 episode. Then maybe we'd do the iron farm in another episode. But even that wouldn't really be enough to merit an episode. So we'd do an iron farm and then maybe a few other bits and pieces in another episode. We'd do that section, the big glass section over there in an episode. And then we'd do the mob farm in another episode. And then be like, okay, well, what do we do next? Whereas this is 16 episodes. This was my full Let's Play series. So things have definitely been scaling up over the years, and I think that's a positive thing. But it has been cool to take a look back and see how I used to operate. These builds are actually quite cool. I actually like this world. I think it's an interesting little place, and it's a nice little bit of history. So I'm going to make sure that I make more backups of it. I don't get it lost again, because I would hate to see this thing go. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this little look back into the past. If you did, please sure to that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Oh, and I mean, yeah, I may only be a spectator head, but I still think you should check out the filming channel.